You know when you say something in an offhanded comment and then all of a sudden someone bribes you to make a deck list around that one random comment you made? Yeah, no, me either. That's not a regular part of my life at all. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video. And today we are playing the closest thing that I could come up with to Ham Sandwich Stompy. Yeah, this is my life. Okay, so Edison heard me make that comment, thought it was hilarious, and was like, all right, make it happen. So my goal was to build a legacy deck around either a boar or pig or anything of that general nature that I could find to qualify as ham. So we found a boar that is borderline playable. We'll go with that. Illharg the Raze-Board. So this is a boar god 6/6 with trample, and whenever it attacks, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. It'll be tapped and attacking, and we're going to return that creature to our hand at the beginning of the next end step. So this is essentially another sneak attack. Now, I think it was over the summer, I played a mono-red sneak attack through the breach deck, and it did not go well. And I saw that Crucible of Words had done a video recently, and I was like, I want to take a look at their video. Let's see if they did better. They did not really do better. And it was just kind of a difficult ham sandwich to crack, so to speak. So I'm going to make a fundamental change. The last time I played this deck list, it was a Seething Song deck list. And my goal was make it to 5 mana as quickly as possible to either Through the Breach or Sneak Attack plus activate for some big dumb creature that should hopefully win the game. This time I'm going to try a different approach. Instead of Seething Songs, I am on Spirit Guides, Lotus Petal, and Chromebox. Like, we're going in hard here. And my goal is to try to get out of the early game with Blood Moon instead, and hope that my opponent just does not play something meaningful. If we accidentally accelerate into our primary win condition first, cool. But game plan A is slow things down with Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon, rather than with Chalice of the Void or Trinisphere. I think this is going to be more reliable. I think. The last way I was doing it wasn't working, so we're not going to be an idiot and just try the same thing again. We're going to be a crazy person, try something weird, and maybe it'll work. And then we're hoping to get into this mid-game where we can play the One Ring for huge amounts of value, recouping our early mana losses, and then eventually win the game with one of these effects. Now, should we just be a blue deck and be, doing traditional sneak and shows things? Absolutely, but then we wouldn't need our beloved boar, and we would like that tasty, tasty ham in this video, at least a couple of times. I am unsure about the creature suite here. It's some number of these effects, but the thing about this is that the creature enters tapped and attacking, and if it enters tapped and attacking, you don't get the on-attack trigger of Archon of Cruelty. But I think Archon of Cruelty as pseudo-removal still is important, so I want to play a couple. You could go with something like Blightsteel Colossus as well, and just try to get that easy oops, I win. But if opponent has some blockers, the Blightsteel doesn't do that, and I think prefer the creature suite to look like this. You could maybe also do something like Worldspine Worm as well. That has seen a little bit of play in this deck. And as far as the sideboard goes, we're just heavily targeted against graveyard-based combo, spell-based combo, Duders where the moon effects might not be great, and artifact-based decks / generic sweeper for creatures. So, hopefully we do the thing at least a few times here. And if you need your boar gods, check out TOAMagic.com. They are my favorite place to shop. They are going to get a bunch of my money at MagicCon Chicago, and I already got some online as well. Promo code ThrabenU will save you a little bit on your order, and you always get free shipping, and if you have a tournament in a hurry, you can get expedited shipping as well. Let's battle. Let's go Big Pig. This is a hand of all time. absolute hand of all time. Oh my god. Alright. Okay. Alright, what about this one? Ancient Tomb. How many cards am I on? I'm on 5. Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, Imprint Thingy. Chrome Mox, Imprint Thingy, One Ring. This is where we're at. Do I want? Maybe I want to keep a Traxa in hand. This is unfortunately an Ancient Tomb pass situation, I think. That telegraphs the general sort of deck that I am going to be on. Island, Ponder, sure. Alright. Mountain, Chrome Mox, Imprint. Hope for no counterspell, which I don't know if that's realistic. But we've just got a shove here. Force of Will, pitch Show and Tell. Okay. I mean, like, stock up. This card is going to start seeing a lot of Legacy and Vintage play. Tutor? I don't think it's realistic to try to kill my opponent with a Spirit Guide. I'm not going to do that. Alright. Opponent is on a sneak attack version, unfortunately, and not a show and tell hand. That is very bad for us. I am going to presume that we have lost this game already. I mean, imprint, play the boar. Yeah. So basically, regardless of what I did this hand, if my opponent had Force of Will plus Daze, they were just going to beat me. We can just concede here. I'm not going to sit here for another 5 minutes while I find another threat after I've lost all of my permanents. They've got 5 cards in hand. Unfortunately, I'm probably not sideboarding. Show and tell type things are notoriously good versus Triniseers, so that doesn't help me. Furies and Fiery Confluences aren't that great either. My opponent's show and tells are very dangerous to cast, though. Yeah, I will keep this hand. The big question here is, do I just shove the One Ring on turn 1, or do I try to play around Force of Will / Force of Negation? I think I shove. I think this is likely a very bad matchup, so I'm going to go for the highest upside play here. Always have it. Notably, the boar is not doing anything for a few turns anyway. That is a Volk. That is not a basic island, notably. So we could Blood Moon cheese this still. There is a Through the Breach. Let's draw a creature. Hey, a creature. We're just going. I mean, so Show and Tell would be cool. That is an Ancient Tomb. That is another sneak attack. Okay. That is stock up. Am I dead? Lotus Petal. Activate 1. There's a Traxa. 10 cards. There's Emrakul. We are dead. Lost the Pseudo Mirror in short order. Again, stock up should be on your radar for Legacy play. Card is good. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists. And they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out. The opening hands with this deck are certainly something. Like, sometimes I just draw a Spirit Guide Mox or Lotus Petal and shove Blood Moon on turn 1, which is now not great. My opponent has Island and basic Delver here, blind. Not great for us. And it is a Brainstorm to flip said Delver, and it flips to Brainstorm. So I am taking 3 damage per turn cycle from here. Oh, maybe more. Oh, yikes. Alright. I'm going to do a crazy person thing. This is a bait spell. I do not want this spell to resolve. Bait, successful. Ooh. Yeah, because if that resolves, then I don't have 5 mana for Through the Breach attracts the next turn. Don't wasteland me, bro. Woo! Alright. Only 4 damage. And a DRC. I could One Ring here instead of a Traxa. I think I like One Ring around Daze here. It buys a lot of time. We've got a response. So in my ideal world, I resolve the One Ring here and then do like sneak attack activate maybe multiple times next turn. I might die. If my opponent did that Brainstorm well, they can set it up so that this is a 3/3 and this flips. Let's see if they did it well. Nope. That's the sorcery to turn this into a 3/3. So if I take 7, Ancient Tomb is off. So there's 7 damage. Down to 2. I need a mana source. I mean, that's a mana source. So 2 mana. Do this. Sneak attack. It's 1 card. Don't you dare daze me. Don't you dare. You have countered my first 2 spells. Give me my 3rd. Give me hope. Alright. Activate Sneak Attack. Put in Atraxa. Look at 10 cards. Simian, Spirit Guide, Archon of Cruelty? 7 plus 6 plus 6? 19? Yeah. Oh, shit. No, I've got Lotus Petal, so it's fine. Yeah, so Lotus Petal, Archon of Cruelty, activate, put in Archon, trigger. Yeah, we're good there. So wherever it is, this brainstorm potentially being set up differently could have flipped Delver? Question mark? My moon effects are going to be less potent here, especially on the draw, and my opponent just, without thinking about it, also just played around my effects. So I think I'm going to go these 8 cards out. We're going to get some Furies for opposing creatures. We're going to get some Fiery Confluences. And then I could, like, play a Trinisphere. Trinisphere versus Delver is just, like, not super good. I think I'm going to play 1 over the moon stuff. The issue for Trinisphere versus Delver is that the Delver gets on board and you play the Trinisphere afterwards, and your opponent can just beat you to death with that 1 card. This has 3 starting mana. It has a bunch of 4-drops. It has 3 pieces of the same combo piece. I think I would rather just keep something that, I don't know. I think I can do better. These are Magic the Gathering cards. I think this is better. I'm going to keep this pitching the Ancient Tomb. There's some, like, Trinisphere Fury awkwardness here with this hand. Delver is acceptable. Spirit Guide. I mean, hard to not do that. That is a Force of Negation. I am going to let Delver hit me once, and then Fury it. If my opponent has another creature, they will play it out. And I might take 1 to 3 points of damage to just totally dunk on my opponent's deck. They are low on cards after forcing there. That was a shuffle. Wasteland's pretty bad for me. This is also not the secondary follow-up creature that I wanted to hit here. Yep. I will take 1. This Delver is now maybe set up to flip. It's random. Agreed. Delver trigger. Delver flips to Force of Negation, which does not stop Fury. I am at 14. I have not succeeded in eating another creature here. There is 1 unknown card over there. So, yeah. Please do not let the 1 unknown card be Daze. Yeah. You know, I got what I asked for. It was not Daze. I will take 3. 11. This is where I need to draw the 1 ring. Try again next turn. I am down to 8. There's a Brainstorm. A land drop. If my opponent is double fetching, then that means this last thing is just Murktide Regent. Yeah. So this is lethal next turn. I think it has to be the 1 ring. It is not the 1 ring. We're dead. That's what the next game is for. When I am on the play, I can consider going in for more copies of Trinisphere over something like Fiery Confluence, which I think I will do. But Trinisphere on the draw is like, ugh. That is 0 mana. Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, Imprint, Spirit Guide, Lotus Petal, Sneak Attack, and keep a 2nd Sneak Attack. Seems fine. Not good, but fine. Opponent is on 5. We'll Imprint, Spirit Guide. We'll play Lotus Petal. And then we will shove Sneak Attack. Yeah, I mean, now any mana source gives us a shot at another Sneak Attack. And hopefully that works. That is a Ponder. I mean, that's a mana source. I'm just going in. My opponent mulliganed pretty aggressively. That is another Force of Negation. I mean, there's Delver. So now we're just in a top deck war where my opponent has a threat in play. This is probably favorable to my opponent because I am trying to assemble an A plus B in a lot of cases. But I do just have some BS like Fury and the One Ring that I can draw that are strong standalone cards. I'm going to take one from this Delver. I've drawn a Spirit Guide. I don't think I'm interested in playing that as a threat. Like, I could, at the cost of 2 life, maybe block a damage. But that Delver is going to flip eventually. DRC, sure. So, I think I just use this so I don't take more Ancient Tomb damage. Neither of these is currently flying. A 6/6 creature lives through most red removal. Unsigned Memory is interesting here. The Delver flies now. I'm on a 4-turn clock to that. That's funny. If my opponent consigns this trigger, they do not. 13. I am taking 4. Life's getting real low. It's dangerous to tap Ancient Tomb. That's hopefully fine. Oh, fuck, no. Consigned to Memory. Yeah, now I'm dead to Delver. So I could have not cast that, gotten one more draw, drawn Shatter Skull Smashing, died to the other one in the air. GG's. We cannot beat 2 counter spells in the early game. The last 2 rounds have very clearly shown us that. See, this is what I'm talking about. Just good, honest, fair, turn 1 Blood Moon, and we figure the rest out later. Get them. Absolutely get them. Opponent says they're a longtime fan. Hope you like Blood Moon. Fuck. Double fuck. Alright. So it's currently unclear what colors my opponent's deck is. This could be blue-black base. This could be blue-red base. Could be Grixis even. We'll see where this goes. There's a mountain. But now we're just hoping for any mana source for next turn, and then we just play 4 drops until our opponent dies. I don't think I'm too worried about the Tamiyo. The Tamiyo flipping is only a problem if my opponent, like, Force of Wills and then minuses on the Force of Will to get it back. That is a Delver. I have no castable cards. Delver trigger. Delver flips to Spell Snare. That one doesn't matter here. I'm at 15. So we just start slamming cards. Some number of these are going to get dazed or forced or whatever. That's a consider. Oh shit, it just worked. Fuck yeah, that was unexpected. Wow, that's another basic island. My opponent can still attack to get their clue token. Now, this Brainstorm is going to transform the Tamiyo. And hopefully I just naturally play around soft permission like Daze. With some fast mana or lands off the One Ring. So I lose 1. Do this thing. I'm going to feed a sneak attack to a Daze. Oh, it just worked. I unfortunately don't have the mana to activate it, so my opponent gets another turn. They can, like, Brazen Borrower this out of play and make me replay it. Blue. So I will now take 3 here. I'm at 11. That's another basic island. My opponent might just, like, be actual factual mono blue. Like, Spell Snare and Consider are a little weird. I wonder if they're on the Aether Drift card, or if they're just on Murktides and whatever the fuck Spell Belly Whale is actually called. Ethereal Forager. It's a gut shot. Okay, to fuel a Murktide Regent. Got it. But, you know, we're doing crimes here. Opponent's dead. I'll draw some bonus cards. Play a mountain. Activate a sneak attack. There's an Emrakul. Activate a sneak attack. There's an Atraxa. I will choose Atraxa. A mountain. Yeah. And then when that's all said and done, I can also just play another One Ring. So if my opponent's mono blue, which it looks likely, that stuff can get out. We will play Furies, and then I can think about Trinispheres or Fiery Confluences. I think I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the other matchup, where when I am on the draw, I don't Trinisphere. Maybe that's not true this time. Some of my opponent's threats are not aggressive. Like, a Tamiyo that is in play is threatening in a very different way than a DRC is. Fury can also hit Planeswalkers, making Tamiyo ever so slightly less threatening. I mean, YOLO Pig is possible on turn 1. I don't know that I want to YOLO Pig, but it's possible. I don't think I YOLO Pig on turn 1. I think I just play the Trinisphere. I really want to just Shove the pig. But that gets dazed. This doesn't get dazed. Alright, Force of Will, pitching Brazen Borrower. Got it. So next turn with 1 mana source, I can attempt a pig or whatever. Or through the breach. Cameo is fine. Wasteland is very much not fine, though. Got it. Land is great. Keep those coming. Cameo will... just going to always yield to that. Honestly, I can probably just have 6 their turn. It's not like I'm interacting. This is not a Pyroblast deck. Okay, I mean, this is all I want to do. I just want to continue to draw mana. I have good cards in hand. I just need to deploy them. A soul land, honestly, is ideal, because then I naturally play around days. Cameo keeps Tameoing. Another boar. We're chilling. These clues don't mean anything until my opponent can start cracking them. The bad news here is that if my opponent does not have lands, that means that they have spells, and they're not 1-mana creatures either. Wasteland currently doesn't do anything other than start to turn on clue tokens, which is perfectly fine and relevant. Chrome Mox is fine. I will imprint a boar. I think I go for Through the Breach. Fully do not expect this to work. That is acceptable. And my opponent can crack a clue with the remaining mana. There's a new fetch land. I haven't actually seen any red spells out of my opponent, and I saw a whopping 3 basic islands last game. That's a great draw. So my opponent might not actually have red cards in their deck. That remains to be seen. That's the same Thundering Falls as before. And Tameo keeps accruing cards. Opponent's discarding a Spell Pierce. Sure. If my opponent is discarding Spell Pierce against me, their hand is fucking stacked. They're actively discarding. I'm not sure if they need to be cracking clues, but it might be a, I'm so wealthy I can afford to discard a card situation. But they are doing nothing to currently reduce my life total. If they double crack clues. Petty theft, sure. So let's start here. I think I imprint the boar. Actually, maybe I just imprint Atraxa. I think I sneak attack here. Sure. Between like Hydroblasts and Consign to Memories, I am not expecting a lot of my spells to resolve. And then there is like ye old pile o clues. Also just gonna get wastelanded off my City of Traders. Alright, Tameo flipping finally. That just gets to return these counter spells repeatedly, which is a massive pain in the butt. Play the one that is currently playable around days. Walk into a different counter spell instead. Yeah, there we go. Opponent's fetching, presumably to crack a clue. Oh, they're just gonna actually put a threat into play. That's reasonable. There's a land drop. Tameo's just plussing. No cares in the world. They do not feel the need to get back the counter spells. I'm in bad shape, folks. I'll just hold that for a minute. And then we'll probably see two clues cracked here. This game is over. I have lost this one. I am mostly waiting to see if I see any other win condition here. It's a Delver. More Tameo, sure. Delver trigger. 2 days, sure. There's the Tameo ult. So my opponent transforms that Tameo. Oh, they missed out on the clue value. What if they needed 1 more card to win the game? I think they'll be okay. I am down to 8. All right. We get 1 last attempt. With Spirit Guide, this will be 5 mana. Through the Breach. Well, we tried. There's no way we could have known they had a daze. All right. So it does look like my opponent is mono blue. I think the Trinospheres are fine. They're certainly better on the play than draw. So this can play the 1 ring on turn 2, but has 3 dead cards beyond that. I think I'm going to mulligan this one. Just something that's a little more stable, I think, is preferable. This is not great. This is a bad mix of lands and spells. My opponent has kept 7. I am going to keep this. I'm going to pitch one of these 2 cards. I think I'll pitch the Through the Breach. I'm not sure if that's correct, though, because I could just pitch the Through the Breach to Fury to kill an early Tameo or something. Without necessarily giving up other relevant cards. I'm going to let that live for a turn, see if I can maybe get a Tameo and another card at the same time. Opponent gets their clue. Land drop. And Tameo becomes a Planeswalker. And we'll have 4 loyalty. Chrome Mox is not getting me to where I want to go. I don't really want to pitch a sneak attack there, but this currently has 4 loyalty and is killable by a Fury right now, whereas it might not be in a minute. If opponent has a Hydroblast, they do. So that was a very, very bad 2-for-1 that was not in my favor. And now it's Delver. So that just like did not line up so that I could take 2 cards at the same time. I think if my opponent has 1 counterspell for this 1 ring, I probably lose this one. Because then they can just fish it back with Tamiyo. The fact that my opponent has so many basic islands just means that my Blood Moon plan is not reasonable here. Alright. So, yeah. That's a Spell Pierce. At this point, Tamiyo ultimates. My opponent has half of their deck in hand. I'm going to tap out. They have certainly got it from here. GG's. Opponent hand has no mana. I don't really know how this keeps happening. We're roughly a 50% mana deck. This hand's good. We probably keep it and pitch the Emrakul. The Emrakul doesn't go under Chrome Mox. I mean, it could go under Chrome Mox, but not really in a beneficial way. We draw a red card. We have turn 1 Magus of the Moon. How does everyone just have the goddamn basic island in the opener? Ow. Alright. Chrome Mox. Imprint Archon. Cast Lotus Petal. Tempt. 1 ring. Alright. Opponent is brainstorming. That is another basic island. Sure. Well, in case my opponent's fetch lands are relevant, we're going to do that. I think this fully does not matter. That is a Lorien Revealed. Fetching a mountain. Alright. Turns out the Magus of the Moon did have some text. 18. Oh, my opponent can still, like, cantrip, cast Murktides. I am not expecting Magus of the Moon to just solo my opponent here, in any capacity. And if they're running Lorien Revealed as well, they're going to just have ways to shuffle even without fetch lands. No, but they're passing for now. Chrome Mox not very good here. Send in for 2. 16. That is an intuition. That is to shuffle for Brainstorm, and my opponent is presumably playing some sort of blue-white show and tell deck. Maybe with like Teferi being white in the main deck. Now, I have a ton of big dumb fat monsters that I can top deck over the next few turns. Well, that's pretty much the weirdest intuition that I've ever seen. You might have a Brainstorm. All right. I mean, yeah. I am confused. Brainstorm's fine. That's a Meticulous Archive. Well, I have plenty of mana. That's the good news. My opponent's at 12. Do they have any weirdo sources of card advantage? Like the 1 ring. Those are going to start to be castable. Oh, we're in all sorts of weird bullshit territory. Okay. So, I know you. You junk lands. This is going to be some sort of replenish deck, probably, where all of these are going to try to come back from the graveyard at the same time. I think I am going to give you a Parallax Wave to hand. With white, that is just not castable. Opponent is lost in the sauce, and I can respect it. I'm just going to hope that whatever replenish style thing they can use to bring stuff back from the graveyard just is not castable through Magus. My Magus is much better than I thought it would be. I'm very glad that my opponent isn't just like playing a blue-white show and tell deck that just intuitioned for their show and tell and just omniscienced me. That's basic planes. That's swords. Mana is now online. That is a Parallax Wave in play. So we're chilling. It's turn 7 and I just haven't drawn a threat to close out this game. That is a hard cast Lorien Revealed. I mean, yeah. Significantly less good this time. And we're chilling. The Spirit Guide does not really do much right now. I'm also not sure exactly what, but I'm sure there is some bullshit flicker or combo thing going on here as well. Yeah. Saw that coming. My opponent can now exile my lands? Oh, this is also a creature now. It is Opalescence is symmetrical. 14. My opponent exiles one of their things to return this. All right, so what is this? Stack all of these and then exile that with the triggers on the stack? Yeah, okay. I kind of thought something like that was going to be the case. So now the return thing happens, and my opponent nukes my lands, and they can take out my Blood Moon. This is disappointing. Like, it's just turn 9, and I never drew a threat, so my opponent had time to assemble this. But honestly, I'm happy for them. Oh, this also can generate infinite mana? This is neat. So now my opponent returns these. Okay, this is cool. I'm into this. I'm still sad that I didn't draw a threat, but... Okay, there's Teferi. Bounce my Chrome Mox, you absolute monster. Okay, I mean, I've seen what their deck does. It's pretty cool. I will concede here. I don't even know that I'm going to board in Fairy. I think if I just try to kill my opponent, they will die. I just did not try to kill my opponent very hard. And I think since my opponent cares about like white, and blue, I do keep the Blood Moon effects. I think I'm just not going to sideboard. I think Trinisphere is reasonable, I think Fury is reasonable, but I think for the game that I'm on to play, I'm just going to keep all of the Blood Moon effects and assume that they buy me time. That is 1 mana. This is fine. So Chrome Mox, Ancient Tomb, probably imprint a Boar. Wait, this doesn't do anything, does it? Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, imprint, Boar, pitch Spirit Guide, put Sneak Attack into play, draw something afterwards. I go to 5. This is incredibly tilting. This doesn't do anything at all. I'm now looking to just keep mana and the One Ring. I'm incredibly upset that not one of these is red. 1, 2, 3. Done. City Pass. I mean, that is a Blood Moonable land. I'm very angry right now. I'm so incredibly upset. In no capacity do I think this deck is the bee's knees or anything. But holy shit, we are having a bad showing, folks. Alright. Romox. Imprint, Spirit Guide. Attempt a Blood Moon. That is annoying for both of us, honestly. That is a Force of Will. There's the end of turn fetch. A Containment Priest. Well, that absolutely was not on my radar as something that I should be playing around. So I don't have Furies. That means I now have to win the game by casting Pig, basically, and attacking for 6 3 times. Very good deck. End of turn fetch. Second Meticulous Archive. At the point where I've lost this Chrome Mox, I'm just gonna tap out. This one is far enough gone after my mulligan to 4 or whatever that I don't think it's worth playing out through Containment Priest to Fairy. I'm going to check. I'm going to check at my fucking mana count here. This is mana. 28 mana sources, roughly 50%. And this is absolutely not my experience in these games. Alright, this is fine. I do have to decide what my first play is. I think it's the One Ring on turn 1. I think I keep this and get rid of Magus and hope to One Ring into appropriate resources. Regardless of which play I take, I think this is a Force of Will check hand. Leyline Axe. It's in your opening hand, you may... Got it. +1/+1, double strike, trample. Well, I sure don't know why we're doing it, but it's in play. Yeah, and One Ring. And then hopefully One Ring just does One Ring thing, draws me some mana, and I just go into Sneak Attack, win the game. The issue with jamming Sneak Attack on turn 1 is that even if it resolves, I then just have City of Traders as my only land. Is there some new weirdo Aether Drift in Equipment Matters cards? Lightning Greaves? Sure. Draw? Roughly 50% mana? Roughly 50% mana? Ah! Urza Saga. I can Blood Moon that away. Manifold Key. Metalworker Ring? Manifold Key is normally Grim Monolith. Why do we want this? I'm sure there is a reason. Roughly 50% mana? Oh my god. So I have drawn 6 cards off the One Ring, plus 2 draw steps, and I have not seen a red source. Alright. 2 mana, land drop, 4 mana, One Ring. Keep this one, draw a card. There's a Spirit Guide. Excellent start. Through the Breach, Sneak Attack can go. Let's see what my opponent can do. They've got 5-ish mana, emphasis on ish. That is a new manifold key. That is a construct token, which gets haste. The haste doesn't matter, I have protection. How about some mana? Mana. Alright. 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana. So there is sneak attack. I'm going to activate sneak attack. I'm going to put in Atraxa, attempting to just go and find another mana source. I succeed. So artifact, land, creature, instant. I will Chrome Mox. And opponent sees the writing on the wall. That is lethal in the air. But oh my gosh, we did not draw mana with an appropriate speed. So what's my opponent doing? Why Leyline Axe? It's not just going to be like Mox Opal Metalcraft tech, is it? That seems too deep. Oh, my cards got very small. There, how about that? Fiery Confluence is probably good. My opponent is on mono soul lands over there and Urza Sagas. I don't think I board out Blood Moon stuff, which means I'm probably doing something like this to get these 3 Fiery Confluences in here. I believe Through the Breach is much better than the Pig here, but damn it, the Pig has not gotten to Pig yet. And I don't want to bore you. I'll show myself out after this match, don't worry. This is a turn 2 Blood Moon with a Fiery Confluence in hand to nuke a bunch of artifacts. I think this is okay. Is it good? No. Is it okay? I think so. But I mostly just saw lands for my opponent that game. My opponent has mulligan to 5 here. Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith. You've got it. Big Pig. Land pass. We don't want to play out Chrome Mox yet. My opponent could be a Karn deck. I don't really know. Gajillion D mana. That is a Leyline Axe. That is an Atraxa. I'm going to go Mountain. I'm going to Chrome Mox. I'm going to put one of these 2 cards under. I think it's Archon. And I'm just going to play a Moon. That's my opponent back by 2 mana, kind of. And then hopefully I just Fiery Confluence away the rest of their shit next turn. They had a bunch of mana, and the best that they could do is Leyline Axe. That probably bodes well for me. And then I just eventually go into Pig. Looks like opponent's just passing. There's no weird, like, if you get destroyed, something cool happens. Nope. So we're going to destroy target artifact twice, and then 2 damage to our opponent. So bam, bam, yeah. And I'm willing to do this because, like, I just know that I have Atraxa looming. Disruptor Flute, absolutely. Sneak Attack seems like a great name. Yep, I agree with your play. So opponent tapped and then untapped City of Traders. Artifact land cycling. So opponent is trying to do affinity stuff. What's the source of card advantage? The One Ring? In order for this conceptually to make sense, the One Ring feels like it has to be there. Maybe it's the One Ring and Mystic Forge? And this is just a, I would like to shit my deck into play sort of thing. Opponent grabbed Great Furnace, which is the red artifact land. And then next turn I get Big Pig. Big Pig into Atraxa. Broad? Okay, alright. I see. I see now. I get what you're doing. Now, notably, when I was sideboarding, I said that I thought Through the Breach was just better than Big Pig. Big Pig could get killed by my opponent playing something like the One Ring and throwing it at Big Pig, and I would be sad. Looks like we're dodging for now. In which case, Big Pig gets to do Big Pig things. Big Pig. Meow. This is tapped and attacking. And as much as I want to grind value with Atraxa, we will give our opponent a merciful death. Alright. Did it take us 5 rounds to put a match win on the board? Was it only in the final moments of the league that Big Pig succeeded? Yes, it was. But we did succeed. Alrighty. My last couple of attempts playing this deck have not gone well. Generally speaking, 4 is the upper end of cards that I consider acceptable in Legacy. Like, by Legacy standards, 3 is pretty expensive. You know, when someone is tapping out for a Teferi or a Barrogoyf or, you know, Blood Moon, that sort of stuff, those cards are expensive. When you get to 4, you are playing things like the One Ring and Pyroglyph, which should have a massive immediate impact on the game. And 5 mana cards that aren't free, like Force of Will, are borderline unplayable. And in mono red, the 5 drops that are here are fine, but they are not cards that I think hold up to Legacy. And we're currently in this 50% combo metagame, which means if you're not playing combo, you're playing something with a bunch of counterspells to try to keep up. Like, we saw Spell Pierces and Spells Snares in the main deck today. We also saw a lot of basic lands, and that's splash damage from Moon Stompy being quite popular within the metagame. So this was probably a bad time to try this if we live in a world where, like, oh, there's a bunch of 5-color beans running around, and the games are slower, and the Blood Moon stuff is very actively good. Maybe this would be a time to re-explore this. Generally speaking, the lack of selection really hurts this deck. The raw card draw of the One Ring was really, really, really good. You could play Fable of the Mirrorbreaker in this deck and try to select for cards a little bit harder, but at the point where you're doing that, you don't have the big pig in there, I don't think, because I think you just play 4 through the Breach and, like, 4 Fable of the Mirrorbreakers and trim 1 Magus or something like that. But generally speaking, I don't think this is interactive enough. I think it was a good deck building theory idea to try. The Chalice and Trinisphere stuff weren't working well, so why not Moon? And in practice, it was fine. But with so much temporary mana here, I was often using my first wave of mana to Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon or whatever, and then not have enough mana to get to this stuff here. And that was problematic. So I recommend shelving this idea, but you know, if you've already got your Raze-Board boars ordered from toamagic.com, hopefully you can come up with something slightly better to give it a shot. Boar Sandwich Stompy. We're going to label this one a failure. But we did get that sweet screenshot at the end. Sometimes that's all that matters. All right, folks, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!